And I add my thanks too to Danny and Andy. I'm grateful for this, and I appreciate Danny setting this up for us. He found this TV for us. We were going to use it in the learning lab. That got shot down by the pandemic. And this went out 3 or 4 weeks ago, so it takes a lot of effort to get something like that going again. So thank you very much. Climbing up on the tall ladder, fixing that without falling off. You got the one call yesterday. Randy Wentz has some family members who have been sick, and also he learned yesterday that his cousin Rodney's son's having some kidney problems. Josh Eskridge, pray for him. Also, he has found out this week that he's going to have his cataract surgery. Randy Wentz is having cataract surgery on Tuesday. He has been promised that he's going to look better. Or maybe see better. See better.
Just as long as I see better, I don't care how I look.
You're not going to, okay, he probably will not look any better, but he will see better. He's looking forward to that because you can go along and not realize that you can't see or hear well, and now the doctor says, no, you need an operation. There are others that you've been praying for and praying about. God's been answering our prayers. Keep each other in your hearts, your thoughts. Pray for folks that we are not seeing each Sunday. But especially, I know that the reason you're here is because you're pretty much out in it every week anyway. But let me encourage you. I haven't said it maybe this boldly as before. Many of us who are here today realize that any kind of group attendance is risky behavior. There is probably someone here today who has been exposed to the coronavirus because we work and we go out. We've had to go out and be in the world. So please don't shake hands with each other. Don't touch each other, and really pay attention to each other's social distance. Now, most of these are family, and they've been together all weekend. So the people who are coming are high-risk people for the most part. So stay away from each other. I know that you want to interact and fellowship, but we're talking about the spread of a disease. Now, I don't wear my mask in the pulpit. Before I go to take Randy home, I'm going to put my mask on, lather up my hands before I touch his wheelchair with sanitization liquid. But listen, right now we can say that as far as I know, no one in our church family has contracted the virus. We may yet, but I'm very grateful. And I don't believe in jinxing, but I don't believe in jinxing. I believe in God. So so I'm not worried about making that statement. We may yet. And when we do, we may have to change things again. We may have to, if we determine that one of us contracts the virus, we may have to close our services back down again. It's not just a matter of quarantining or asking that person to stay away. If we found out that one of you had the coronavirus today, then we'd have to shut our services down for a couple of weeks at least and sanitize everything. That's the way it's got to be done. So the people that you might shake hands with here are nurses, and they work at hospitals, and they see patients, and they run businesses, they go places, they do things, they're out in it. So someone that you shake hands with maybe they're not sick. Maybe they don't have the virus, but they're carrying it. You don't have to be afraid. Just be careful. All right? Whatever you believe about this virus. So keep those in your heart and mind and prayer. Let me say, as I said in the bulletin, we have our services open, but coming to church is risky business. You're at risk. It's a risk that you have to decide whether you're going to take or not. We're giving you the opportunity. But we're not saying, when we open our services, we're not saying that it's safe here. We're saying we'd rather come to church than be safe. The safest place for you to be during a time of a pandemic is in your home. All right? If you can do that, stay home. All right. Pray for Randy. Pray for each other. Continue to pray for the folks who are on our prayer list. All right. Now, we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, but I'm really not doing a verse by verse or an exposition of the words and the verses in chapter 7. We're taking a look at really what Paul is bringing the Corinthians to. Let's go on. I showed you these slides last Sunday. This is really what the essence of what he's talking about. The solution to the problem is not that they behave. Behave! Start obeying the rules. Start being good people. You see, if we could be good people and obey all the rules, Jesus wouldn't have had to come and die. We've got to grow, as Addison has grown for 10 years, we've got to grow into allowing the Christ who indwells every believer to live his life through us. It's not a matter of me and you getting better and better and better. It's about, Paul says, it's about you and I dying to self so that Jesus can live through us, becoming, and not even Christ-likeness. It's that when people see us or they look at us, they should be able to see the evidence of the person of Christ in our life. Let's go on. As I said, I'll show you these slides. Galatians 2:20, he says this is the core. This is what the Corinthians need. This is what he told the Galatians. I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live, I live by the faith of the Son of God who loves me and gave himself for me. People who spend time with you and me ought to know more and more and more about what Jesus is like. They shouldn't be learning more and more and more about what you are like. Be yourself is some of the worst advice you'll ever get. Just be yourself. No, be better than that. My mama used to tell us before we had company, don't act natural. Company's coming. Don't act like you usually do. Act better than that. I don't want to be myself. I want to be more like Christ. Let's go on, Carter. Thank you. Now I'll talk to you about building this. And this is really, the Corinthians' church problems are not going to be solved if they do everything Paul tells them to do. But what he is implying and what is the groundwork and what he does tell them is like this. Let's go ahead and click a button there, Carter. And he talks about the foundation. He said, this is what, it's not you being a better person, you obeying all the rules, it's Christ in you. Let's go, click it again. If Christ is in you, you can build on that, because the next thing is learn how to get you out of the way. How to get me into the background. I need to crawl into the back seat and let Jesus do all the driving. When you're saying Jesus take the wheel, what does Jesus say? I got it. I got it. I got the wheel. Click it again there, Carter. Then that will affect. You see, the problem with the Corinthians is they don't know how they're treating others poorly. They don't love each other. They're suing each other, taking each other to court. They hate each other. But it's got to be like this before you can ever get to others. Let's put a roof on it, Carter, and then we'll go on. He's talking about building a house. As a matter of fact, in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, Paul says, you are what God's building. This is what he's building. This is what he's making. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Last Sunday, I interjected into this, what's in it for me. The embarrassing, shameful thing is that Jesus knows that you and I just follow him so that we can go to heaven one day, so that he'll answer our prayers. We believe in Jesus because we believe that he's going to do all kinds of good things for us. He's going to help us. He's going to be with us and lead us and guide us. The only reason we follow Jesus is because of all the things he does for us. Do you know why Jesus loves you? If you find out, you tell me. Why does Jesus love you? It's because of all the great returns. It's because of the great rewards in loving you and loving me. No. We need to, it's humbling to say, we need to understand that He's doing all of this for us. And yes, there is something in it for me. I am going to heaven. I do have a cabin in the corner. Jesus is with me. He does answer my prayers. Yes, He saved me. Because when Peter asked Him, what's in it for me? Jesus told him, I'm going to wear you out. It's going to be 100-fold. The thing I want to look at today is Jesus first won't work. Now that kind of falls in because I think it's another one of these things that Paul is really talking about and not saying it so much in words. Jesus first won't work. Let's go on to the next slide. Have you ever heard Jesus first? I've got a little pin that I can put on my lapel that says Jesus first. I've seen it on bumper stickers. I've seen it on billboards. I've heard it in songs. I've heard it in sermons. Jesus first. Put Jesus first. Let's go on. Let's look. Priority living is a man-made construct. Prioritizing. Putting this first, and then this second, and then this third, and this fourth. That's getting your priorities in order. Priority living, however, is man-made. It's not God-made. Getting things in order. Putting things in their proper place. That's all a human way of looking about the way to arrange your life. I like what Brother Dave Gardner used to say. He says, it's all in the way you look at it and cut it up. It's all in the way you look at it. Now, I'm talking this morning about a way of looking at life. Because the way that you and I perceive things are the way we behave. The way we see things are often the way we live. And so this may be just a way of looking at things, but I believe it's important. I believe that we need to look at things the way God looks at things, and not the way you and I naturally see things. Let's go on, Carter. You can go to Google and type in Google Images and type in the words Jesus first. And thousands of memes and images and logos will come up about putting Jesus first. Get your priorities straight. Now let me show you something. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm meaning. I'm going to explain what I mean. Let's go to the next slide. It's about pie. I don't know if you watch any comedic science fiction, but I like Men in Black. In Men in Black 3, whenever they get into a bind and they get into a situation where they can't get the case to fit together, they always go to a local cafe and they have pie. And Kay says it's time for pie. So I want to talk with you about pie today. Doesn't that look larrapin' good? That's what my mama used to say. Larrapin' good. I never did use that. They'd say, that'd make you slap your mama. I never used that phrase at all. It never occurred to me to slap my mom. Now, there was a lady at Willow Springs. She said, that'll make you slap your mom. I said, no, I never, no. My mama beat me to death. Plus, I love my mama. I didn't want to slap my mama. Make you slap your mama. Well, anyway, talking about pie. Let's go on. Now, I don't know if I agree with this or not, but I went and did my sermonic research. This is the most popular kinds of pie. Now, your favorite pie may not even be listed here. Now, let me ask you, 36% of the people who were queried on Family Feud picked pumpkin pie as the most favorite pie. Does that sound right to you, that everybody likes pumpkin pie more than any other kind of pie? No. I believe a bunch of Yankees probably filled out this survey.
Coconut cream.
Coconut cream ain't even mentioned, so you ain't in the ballpark. Pecan, or as they pronounce it in Georgia, pecan. Pecan pie. Pecan pie. 17%. Apple pie surely is about 50%, isn't it? Apple pie, 14%. The only thing that my brother likes more than tomatoes is apple pie. 14%. Sweet potato pie. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not very cultured, but you can sit me down in front of potato pie, sweet potato pie, and pumpkin pie all day long, and I couldn't tell you the difference. Now, you might say, well, that's stupid. Well, I'm stupid. I can't tell the difference. You say, what you eating? A pumpkin pie? No, I ain't sweet potato pie. Okay. Because it uses the very same spices in most recipes. Well, sweet potato pie, chocolate pie is only 9%. That's the only kind of pie Terry will eat, chocolate pie. You have to take the calf slobber off the top. Somebody gets a big piece of chocolate pie and wipes the meringue off first, need to be sent to prison. Need to be sent to jail to wipe the calf slobber off of chocolate pie. Lemon meringue. Lemon meringue is only 4%. Okay, here we go. I got to get this out of my system. Okay, Barbara? You know why I call this hand right here a pie? You know why I call that my hand a pie? Because it's got meringue on it.
So bad.
Doug, you don't even understand it. He just said, it's got meringue on it, Doug. You come in. Cherry pie, blueberry 3%. Strawberry 2 and other, there's yours. Coconut cream. This all looks like a bunch of foolishness to me. All right, let's go on, Carla. That's enough. We'll just have to be disappointed about that. Now, I want you to use this. I want you to, if it is all in the way you look at it, I want you to look at it like this today. Let's pretend, and I don't know why, but when we were kids, we didn't know the word pretend. You know what we said? Play like. Let's play like. Yeah, let's play like. Play like I'm this. Play like I'm Superman. Let's play like. All right, let's play like this is a life. Maybe not your life. Somebody's life. This circle is a human life, okay? It's a life. A person. All right, let's go on, Carter. Let's cut it up like we were cutting up a pie. Like this. And making different sections. Different pieces. This is this part of my life. This is another part of my life. It's like a different piece of pie. This over here doesn't have anything to do with any of that, but this is a part of my life. This is that same life, but this is the way this person looks at his life. He has different things that make up his life. Let's look at the next slide. If Jesus is first, then that means there's a second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. If Jesus is first, something or someone is second. You can't have a first and that's all you got. You got to have a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. All right, let's go on. But here's all, And let me say this. I have, for sermonic illustration this morning, depicted a life that has only 10 parts. In this person's life, there are only 10 things in his life. Now that's ridiculous. Every human being probably has 1,000 things that are a part of their life. Right? 1,000 things. If you believe in priority living, you say, well, you got 1,000 things that you're always moving and ordering and shuffling and putting in place. You're never, ever, ever going to get everything where it belongs and say, okay, that's the way it's supposed to be, and I'm going to keep it like that, because it's impossible to do that. Let's put Jesus first. We're doing it like a clock around this way, and so Jesus is first in this person's life. That means he's got a 2, 3, 4, or a second, third, fourth, fifth. That he's got other things in his life. What he's saying, though, is that Jesus is more important to me than those other things. Those are parts of my life. Those are pieces of my life, but Jesus is more important than any of them. All right, let's go on. Family is second in importance. Hit it again, Carter. I would say my friends. Hit it again. Number 4, my job. These are different parts of my life, and they take certain parts of my time and my attention and my devotion. But Jesus is the most important. He's number 1. Jesus is first. Now, what if you wake up some Sunday morning and you've been told on the weekly schedule, a calendar at work, that you have to go to work? You've got to make up your mind. Am I going to go to work this morning or go to church? You're at a decision. What's more important to you, Jesus or your job? It makes you feel bad. Because you know that just for today, just Sunday, I've got to put my job first and Jesus second. You feel like you've failed. You're disappointed. Listen, let me tell you something. We have some people who are members of our church that have to work every once in a while on Sunday. How do you think that makes them feel? They feel bad about it. They wish they could be here at church. Every once in a while, you may have to work on Sunday. Are you choosing your job over Jesus? You've got to decide, am I going to go down to the gym and get my check, or am I going to go down to the revival service? Jesus is all the world to me, except for when I got to go pick up my check at the gym. You see, that's not good thinking. That is not good thinking. What if somebody in your family is sick? What if you get a call? During the time that our mother was still alive, we knew that one thing that she could do, regardless, right up to the very end, there was one thing she could always do. There was lots of things. There was very little that she could do, but there was one thing that she could do till the day she died. You know what it was? She could dial a phone. Thank God, for some reason or other, she forgot my number, and she only knew Danny's number. No, I love my mom, but she loved him more, and he paid for it. He paid for it. When she needed somebody to come fix her computer, you think she'd call the big shot computer guy? No, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, she couldn't get haunted house to work, she'd call my brother. I can't get my computer to work. She didn't call me. When she needed to be cleaned up, she called these 2 girls, our wives. They were so good. I'll never be able to repay them. And they were good to their parents, and they were both very, very good. My daddy and our mama loved Liz and Terry because they did a lot of things that me and Danny just couldn't do. But what if something happens and you get a call and you say, our revival is this week, but Mama's in the hospital. I need to be at the hospital. You just put Mama first and said, Jesus, you're going to have to go to the back burner because right now my Mama is more important to me than anybody else in the world. Jesus, you're no longer first. Let's go on, Carter. Let's do number 5. Material, my money, my car, my boat, our house. Number 6, let's go on. My dreams, plans, leisure. We're having vacation Bible school. I'm going to be on vacation that week. We can't be there. You need to put Jesus first and be at vacation Bible school. Because you're putting leisure, you're putting what a terrible Christian you are that you're putting your vacation first instead of Jesus. Neighborhood, other people. And new. There's always something new, something I've never done, something I've never done before, some place I've never been, new things that I've never even thought of, and 1,000 other things that are parts of our life. Are we always choosing, no, this is most important right now. I can't even go to work. One of my friends needs me. I can't even go to work because Daddy's in the hospital. Priority living, folks, is insane. It just won't work. It's always going to make you feel like you're a clown juggling bowling balls. And it's always, in every case, it's going to fail. It's going to make you feel like a failure. And it's going to make you feel like you're not a very good friend, or you don't love your family enough, or you love your house. What if you got a call right now? When we lived up in Arkansas, one of our church members got a call. We were in church. One of our church members got a call that her house was on fire. Do you think she said, well, let's finish just as I am, and the preacher's still preaching his sermon? No, she got up and ran. Her house was on fire. You know what I did? We quit. We shut down service. Half the people in our church were volunteer firemen and women anyway. And we all went to her house so we could save her house. Church wasn't over. We put her first in a moment, in a heartbeat. We didn't have our priorities straight. We got things out of order. The thing about it is, you can try very hard to make it work, and maybe you're making it work. I never have been able to. But your realization, it's always going to be a process of moving things around. Right now, my job is what I got to put first, because I'm spending more time at my job, 40 hours a week, than I'm spending at church. I'm spending more time at work than I'm spending with my family. Evidently, my job is number one. Let's go on, Carter. Let me show you what the Bible teaches. When I found this teaching in the Bible, it liberated me. It set me free. It was such a relief. Because this is what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that this is my life. And I do what? I give my life to Jesus. Give my life to Jesus. So that He is my life. He's all that there is. That's what Danny's song was saying. You're all that I need. The Bible teaches that Jesus doesn't want a part of your life. Jesus doesn't want to be the most important person in your life. Do you know what the first commandment is in the Ten Commandments? No other gods before me. He says, I don't want to just be first place. He says, I want you to get rid of all the other gods so that you only got one God. This is being taught all the way back in the wilderness. I don't want you to believe in Jehovah and then believe in all these other gods of Canaan, these gods of Egypt. He says, I want you to get rid of all those gods. I don't want to be first in your life. This was their Shema. The Lord our God is one. One God. Not the best among many. Not first among others. They're neat. Now, this is the way it is. It's just a matter of freedom and liberty in your life and mine according to whether or not we can see it this way. It's just a way of looking at it. It's just a way that I want you to seriously consider seeing the way that it is. That when you give your life to Christ, you're giving your life to Christ. All right, let's look at the next pie. Now go back to Google Images and type in Jesus and the word all. Jesus is not first. He's not numero uno. He's not first in the list of thousands. Jesus is my all. He's everything. Remember that song? Was it J.W. Peterson that we learned in Flint? He's everything to me. He's everything to me. That is what the Bible teaches. It's a way of looking at it. That's the way that it is. And priority living is just the opposite. Let's go on to the next slide, Carter. Let's take everything now and throw it into there. Give it to Jesus. Yes, I had dreams, but now I say, Lord, I want your dreams to be my dreams. Lord, I don't have any plans. You come up with a plan for my life, that'll be my plan. Your plan is my plan. I never would have asked Terry for a single date if I thought she wasn't a Christian. Because I was asking God to create a family. It's His family. You know what? She was His wife before she was my wife. And our marriage was not just Bob Evans giving her to me. It was God giving her to me and giving me to her. My family, my children belong to Jesus. There's never a conflict in my life where I have to choose whether I should devote my time to my wife or to Jesus. Because she belongs to Jesus. She is His. She's not mine. Do you know that the job that I have right now, God gave me that job? If you don't think that God gave you your job, you don't understand correctly. It's His job. It's His job. When I'm going on a vacation, I'm not saying I'm doing that to get away from God. God says, I want you to go to the beach for a while and lay out in the sun or lay up in the motel room where it's cool and eat seafood. And I say, God, Jesus, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. All my material things, my house belongs to Jesus. It's His. My cars, they're His. He can do with them whatever He wants. If He wants to take it all away, that's fine. It's His. It's not mine. I don't look at anything in my pockets or anything in my closets at home that I look at and say, well, that right there is mine. It all belongs to God. This is I don't have to worry about things juking for attention. There's no tension in my life as to if I'm spending time with my family or my friends that I'm somehow violating. I remember I was out in the back lot of Flint Baptist Church many years ago, and I was trying to witness to one of my hard-headed friends. We were shooting baskets there. Basketball goals, I guess, are still there in that back lot, parking lot. And I told him, Jesus may come someday. He said, you mean that Jesus could come right now? And instead of doing the work of God, men here are here shooting basketball. If you knew that Jesus was going to come in the next 10 minutes, what would you do? I told him, I'm going to finish beating you at horse until He arrives. Jesus wants me to be playing this basketball game with you. I'm not doing this instead of doing what Jesus wants me to do. I'm doing this right now. Whatever, and I'm going to be doing all the time what Jesus wants me to be doing. If I thought Jesus was going to come today, I wouldn't run down to the church house. I would say, what do you want me to do, Lord? He says, I want you to go to the store and buy some more toilet paper. Okay, got it. Jesus, everything is His. I don't have to worry about conflict or contradiction. If I have to work on Sunday, I'm working at a job that belongs to Jesus. And He is the one that arranged my schedule. He knows I'm having to work on Sunday because He's the one that made it that way. He's in control of my whole life. I don't have to fuss and fight. I don't have to put something first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Let's go on, Carter. That's the last one. I do it anyway. It's just a way of looking at something. Don't ever feel bad about enjoying the life that you have in Christ. You're free. You have liberty. Many years ago, I wish I could find this. I read a book. It was kind of like for youth. Many years ago. There's a story about people were all in heaven, and they were in line. They were standing in line to get to see Jesus for the first time in heaven. They were all in heaven. And there was all trees and grass and everything like that. It was just cloud and marble. But he's standing there in line. He can't see very far ahead. And all of a sudden, he sees this little bird over here on a branch. And it's just singing its heart out, a little bird. And he catches himself singing. He said, oh, getting distracted. I've got to focus. I'm headed toward the throne. I can't be distracted by a stupid bird singing a song. The person in front of him turned around and said, how you doing? I'm such and such. And I said, look, I appreciate you and everything. I'm glad you're here in heaven. But I said, I got to keep I'm headed up. I'm going to see Jesus in just a few minutes. I ain't got time to be fooling around with you. In just a minute or two, somebody came by and he had a tray and it had some hot homemade rolls on it and a big thing of butter. And he said, rolls, hot rolls. And he set his mouth. This immediately started watering. And he almost called, he's going to walk right past us. Hot rolls and butter. And then he thought just a minute, oh no. So I can't be distracted. I've got to keep on focus. Then he got up a little bit further and then he saw Jesus sitting on the throne. And there was a bird perched up on the top of the throne here and he was singing to Jesus and Jesus was looking up and he reached up and he put up his finger, took that bird and that bird finished his song. There was someone standing, it was that same guy that's been standing in front of him. He was standing beside Jesus' throne and they were just talking, had a laugh. You know what that man did? He turned around and he said, waiter, a roll, please. I left something out of that. Jesus had a tray sitting on the arm of the throne, had a hot buttered roll on a big old bite taken out of it. None of that is contrary to Jesus. It's not in a fight for your life. Everything that's in your life that is good and godly and true and that is a part of what he has made you into is what he wants you to enjoy. But it's when Jesus is all. Remember many years ago when we were working and attending the James Robinson Crusade at Cater High School gymnasium, not gymnasium, but the football stadium, having revival service, crusade services every night. And every night before we left, John McCabe would lead us in singing this song. It's really not a song, it's a chorus. I've never found any more to it than this. Christ is all I need. Christ is all I need. All that I need. Christ is all I need. Christ is all I need. All that I need. Jesus is all the world to me. Jesus is all the world to me. To end with that, there's a song that I love by Charlie Kane. I've recently put it on my Facebook page. If you're not familiar with Charlie, he's a preacher boy from Hartsville. He's a rock and roller. He's got a song called He's Enough. He's enough. He's not only all I need, he's enough. Let's pray together. Father, Lord Jesus, show us how to live. Show us the right way to live, to be free, so that all the things in our life are not fighting for supremacy, but that all things are at your feet. And you are Lord of all. You're the center of all things, and you are all in all. And everything is yours. We are yours. And you are all that there is. I ask it, Lord Jesus, in your name. Amen. Danny, would you come and lead us in a hymn of invitation? Do business with God today.